Your journey never stops. A new adventure awaits you just a few clicks away. A road trip or vacation, a time to connect with those we care about. We take on the hassle so you don't have to. We are here to give you the freedom to go places. WopeCar. Rent a car in a few clicks.
Hi, everybody, and you're welcome to yet another episode of WopeCar Talks. This is going to be our pink episode, and for good reason. We are talking about breast cancer awareness and the stories beyond the diagnosis and treatment. I am going to be your host for today, Maame Akua, and I'm joined today by two incredible women who are going to be talking about survival after treatment. We all know that in October, Accra is pink all the time. We are trying to create awareness. But then when we think about it, we realize that most of the stories attached to breast cancer are actually more textured than that. We have people representing the different ribbons that we see actually represent people. It could be a man or a woman who has had to live through being diagnosed, going through treatment, and then trying to discover what life means exactly after that treatment. Today's episode dives deeper into that. We look at survival past the physical, we look at the emotional, and also just the beauty of being human after going through something like that. I'm going to be speaking to two people, Miss Dorothy and Dr. Ewurabena, who are going to be sharing both personal and professional aspects of what we are going to be looking at, which is survival in all aspects. So, hi guys, it's nice to have you with us. Um, I was going to do an intro of Miss Dorothy, and then I realized that it's a lot. You've done a lot of things, a lot of really exciting things, actually. Just not the foundation, but then you have an agency base. There's a recording agency attached as well, something like that.
There's a lounge, a restaurant,
See?
and a record label. But that was in the past. I kind of put that on hold for a bit.
Okay, then we'll talk about that now. But I would like for you guys to actually tell us who you are and what you do, starting with you, Miss Dorothy.
I am Dorothy Amuah.
Okay.
I am professionally, I'm an optician.
Oh,
That's my real profession.
okay.
So I did that in New York for several years. And I'm based in Ghana now, and I run a few businesses, a lounge, a restaurant, and obviously my optical practice as well.
Yes.
And then, more importantly, I run a foundation called Dorothy's Hope Foundation.
Thank you so much, Miss Dorothy. Over to you. Hi, Ewurabena. Hey, sorry, Dr. Ewurabena. Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing? Tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I'm Dr. Ewurabena Fynn. Currently, I'm a house officer working at Konkwa Anoshe Teaching Hospital. And I also have, beyond being a medical doctor, I have several businesses. I'm a makeup artist, and I have a construction company as well.
Hey, okay. The girlies. I love that. I love that. Okay, that's exciting. That is exciting. Okay. All right, so today we are looking at Pinktober in its entirety. What that means outside of the stickers and the ribbons and all of that, the pink regalia, right? I want to find out from you, Miss Dorothy, first of all, when October comes around, what does that mean to you outside of the awareness and the noise that is made about breast cancer?
Well, it's an opportunity for us as a nation and all over the world, actually, because Pink October is for, everybody all over the world. So it's an opportunity to create awareness about breast cancer and the effects of it. It's also an opportunity to encourage people to go out there and to get screened. And, anything that's to be learned about breast cancer is brought, alight.
Right.
So, however, I must add this at this point that
Okay.
breast cancer just doesn't happen in October.
Yes.
Okay, so we have to look beyond that, and the awareness has to be created throughout the course of the year.
Yes.
So I'm very passionate about that. It's ongoing, so we don't have to stop. The fact that the whole country is no longer painted pink doesn't mean to say we stop talking about it. So it just gives an opportunity. When everything is pink, it gives an opportunity. It opens up conversation.
Yes,
which I think is really great.
Dr. Ewurabena, as as a woman and a professional, when you think about October and the awareness that's being created, what does that mean to you?
For me personally, pink is mainly a feminine color, but then
Right.
it's such a beautiful experience, right? To see that people come out, show their support, and then wear pink, and it's not something that is forced on you, but then you genuinely want to show support, dedicate this month, and it's beautiful for me. So much courage, support, and you realize that there are lives behind these colors, and it's very beautiful for me as a person and as a doctor also.
I love that. I love that.
And I should add to that as well. Good point. I should add to that as well that for us survivors, it's very meaningful.
Yeah.
A lot of us have gone through the disease and survived it, so it's a chance for us to share our experiences with
Yes.
with each other as well.
Yes. It's good you spoke about surviving, because I want to dive a bit deeper into that. Let's talk a bit about your diagnosis, when you were diagnosed, and how that experience was up until you finished treatment.
Okay, so well, I was diagnosed many, many years ago.
Right.
I was actually 29. I keep saying, yeah, I was
Really?
29 when I was diagnosed, which is quite a young age to be diagnosed with breast cancer, or any cancer for that matter. So it was life changing. Your whole everything. I was thriving. My businesses were running well, and suddenly, you find a lump, and you go in for a checkup, and you're hoping that it's
Hoping.
actually you're even not cancer hasn't crossed your mind.
Yes.
Because we're not advised to do exams until we're in our 40s. Or mammograms until we're in our 40s. So even though you've heard about breast cancer, it's not on your, in your field of vision. For me, went in for the biopsy, and 3 days later, I was told that I have malignant cells. Basically, I have breast cancer. And so it's life changing. You feel like it's an automatic death sentence when you're told. Indeed, it's not. It's possible to survive breast cancer if it's caught early enough. So part of the advocacy work we do, and what we do in October, is also let people know that there is life after cancer. If you're to be diagnosed with breast cancer, you can survive it. The key element here is to catch it at an early stage. Yeah.
So that's early detection.
Early detection is very important.
How was the experience for you? Not physically. I mean, we all know that you feel different things during that time, but emotionally, because you realize that most of the time we focus on how the person is reacting, their body is reacting, but we don't think about psychological. We're thinking about how they're thinking about these things. Am I going to die? I'm not going to die. Okay.
Reacting, I was perfectly healthy. At least I thought I was.
Right.
Breast cancer doesn't mean to say that you're sick.
You're ill.
You're ill in any way. I had nothing. I mean, I had no symptoms whatsoever.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that I had a lump growing in me. And breast cancer doesn't start as a lump. I mean, as a lump, it's initially just a little cell. So even certain ultrasounds, etc., can actually detect the malignant cell at an earlier stage than when it becomes a lump.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was shocking. Emotionally, I went through a lot. Life was just beginning for me. I didn't have my children. I wanted to have kids, so you're in a state of confusion when you're told that you have breast cancer. And I think for me, it hit me really hard, but then it hit my family harder. For my parents, a lot of self-blame. Is there something they've done, passed it on to me, that kind of thing. But they were very supportive. They flew over and they stayed with me through the process. Yeah. But it is definitely life-changing. That you realize that there's more of a certain sense of urgency. Okay, I'm generally a go-getter, but more so now, you don't procrastinate as much.
Right.
And especially when it comes to personal relationships as well, you have to value your relationships with your friends and your family and loved ones. I'm of the mindset right now that if I think about somebody, I pick up the phone and I call. I don't waste time. You never know
Yeah, you
You
never
never
know.
know.
You never know.
You never know. But then having said all of that too, after, moping for a minute or two, I'm very optimistic by nature.
Okay.
So, I personally, I just started researching.
Okay.
I started researching, looking for treatment options. I was introduced to different oncologists and, surgeons and plastic surgeons to give me all the options available to me.
Right.
And then I made a decision what to do. And then I had my surgery and the rest of the treatment, which was 6 months of chemotherapy and all of that, and it goes on, but you have to be mentally strong. It's easier said than done, I know. And I'm sitting here now
It is.
alive, so it probably sounds like, it's a bit of a joke, but it
Yeah.
really isn't. A lot goes through your mind, and mentally you have to be very strong. And the support system is really, really important. Having the right people around you to support you. And I always say that half the battle won with cancer is in the mind. Any disease, actually. Breast cancer, for me, it's in the mind. If you believe that you can beat it, you will. Chances are you will. But if you have a defeatist, attitude,
Yeah, you give up. Yeah,
if you give up,
Yeah.
trust me, it'll take you. It's that vicious. So it will take you.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's my 2 cents.
And then all of that happened in Ghana from the treatment, diagnosis, and
No,
all of
I
that?
was in New York at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in New York at the time and running my businesses in New York. And yeah, and then it happened to me. And I thank God for the fact that I had my businesses, because I was thriving and I had something to look forward to.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
actually,
yes.
after my surgery, I remember I was cut up, butchered, but I went to work with all those medical tubes, those tubes for bleeding. I had all that in me still. Like, I was crunched like this because my body was actually shortened by about 8 inches. They took out that much skin and muscles and tissues, everything from my stomach to do the reconstruction.
Right.
So I couldn't walk for
Wow.
quite some, a couple of months, and I had to retrain myself how to stretch my body again. It took a minute, but I still hunched over. I went to work, and I that's all part of the process. I think I survived
Yeah.
because I had work, and also I wanted to have children, so there was something to live for.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, let me just say, you're a really strong woman. I want to be like you when I grow up. Because right now, I don't think so. That's amazing. Okay, so I'll move to Dr. Rabna real quick. We're looking at the landscape when it comes to healthcare, diagnosing breast cancer, treating it. In Ghana, would you say people who find out that they do have this have access to the treatment options that exist, or it's limited within the country?
Thank you. Well, before I answer, I just want to say it's such an honor sitting beside you today, because I personally think that all breast cancer survivors, even those going through the whole treatment at the moment, are warriors. And I'm so honored to know you.
Thank you.
Okay, and so back to the question. In Ghana, fortunately, by God's grace, when you are, or maybe you examine yourself, you pick up a lump, and then you go to the hospital. Fortunately, Ghana's hospitals, most of them private and some public ones, are well equipped to handle breast cancer issues.
Okay.
Yes. But then the issue is with the early detection.
Oh.
However, most Ghanaians don't. We don't. So
Yeah.
then by the time you present to the hospital, you are in your late stages.
Right.
And in Ghana, for presenting late, it's 15% chance of survival. But then when you present early, it's about 90% chance of survival. That is a huge gap. So
Yeah.
like, we are pushing so much for early detection. Early
Detection.
detection. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's wow. I didn't. We usually chastise the healthcare system in Ghana because we are like, people don't have access either, and if there's access or if there are options, people cannot pay and all of that. But then to know that's actually detection, it makes me wonder how much of the awareness is actually getting to people that need it and how that works.
I mean, I agree with you. We are well equipped. We need more facilities, though.
Okay.
Having
Okay.
said that, there are a few hospitals such as your hospital, Confanoche, Kolebu, Ridge, a few hospitals that, do focus on cancer treatment.
Yeah.
However, we need more. If you go to Kolebu on any given Wednesday and see the number of people in the surgical
Right.
ward, I mean, the doctors are overwhelmed. We have amazing doctors, but they're overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed, right.
There definitely is more of a need to have more facilities. But if breast cancer is caught at an early stage, stage 1, stage 2, if it's caught at an early stage, it's curable. And then the treatment is not so expensive. The issue
Okay.
also comes when it's advanced. The medication is
Right.
so expensive,
Wait,
and most of the
okay.
people who are
Afford
from
that.
low-income families, they can't afford it.
Yeah.
So they start the treatment or not at all, and they end up basically either stopping the treatment or not starting at all, and then they go to prayer camps and
Trying to cast it out.
yeah,
Yeah.
and all that stuff, and take herbal remedies, and that is not the way. We've got to emphasize on the fact that they have to stick to their doctor's recommendations and go through the process. Afterwards, if you want to do something holistic, herbal, fine, but not at the expense of
yes.
no. You've got to go through the removing the lump or the chemo or whatever it is that you have to go through. You have to go
Right,
through
you have to
that.
go through that.
Yeah.
And also to add to what she said with the financial aspect, breast cancer treatment is very expensive. Very, very expensive. And in times of crisis, it's your deeply held beliefs that will show up. So if someone has been diagnosed with breast cancer and then goes to the hospital and is hit with the bills,
The bill, yes.
this is how your treatment is going to go, then the fear shows up and then you just run towards you. Things that
What
you
is
thought
familiar and safe.
exactly, things that
Yeah.
you thought you would never think of but have been deeply ingrained in you.
True.
That's what you run to.
That's true.
Yeah, but now we are running. We are pushing around to the hospitals, please.
In fact, you're right about that. I mean, even me not living in Ghana at the time and being abroad, if you see the number of herbal things I took 50 pills, 50 to 70 pills of shark cartilage, because somebody says that sharks don't get cancer. So,
Wow.
yeah, I mean,
That's
initially you just do
Anything. Yeah.
so I remember popping hundreds and hundreds of pills of, shark cartilage. But eventually you realize that you've got to go through the normal process. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So we've spoken about treatment, access, finances. I want us to look at the emotional and psychological bit of being diagnosed and going through treatment, right? So, Dr. Rabna, for you, what would you say is a layer or an aspect of surviving breast cancer that isn't looked at a lot outside of the physical? Right? So you are done with either surgery or chemo, you're fine now. Do you have psychological trauma? Is there an emotional bunch of things that you need to work through? How have you seen that exhibit with some of the patients that you may have interacted with?
Well, with some patients I've interacted with, what really came out to me was fear.
Yeah.
Fear. So one patient I interacted with, I asked the person, well, Leonard, asked the person, you knew about this, but you presented late. What was the main issue? And she mentioned it was stigma and fear. Stigma not only from others, but from yourself. That's why am I the one to go through this? Of all people, why me? And then fear, and also not necessarily thinking about yourself, but the impact it brings on your family. The caregivers also go through a lot. And sometimes you might think about them so much that you overwhelm yourself also. And all the mind, as Miss Dorothy rightly mentioned, the mind does so much with respect to healthcare. Once you have a good mindset, your chances of survival are high. They are high. So then once you're admitted, we will really question you about your support system. Who can we call? Who do we run to for help? Fortunately or unfortunately, some people do have, maybe, but however, they are far away.
Yeah.
That's quite a number do not. do not.
Wow.
They go through this battle
Alone.
alone.
Yeah.
That's tough. That will be tough.
Yeah.
The fear is twofold. There's the
Okay.
fear of the unknown when you're first diagnosed.
Fair.
What's going to
Okay.
happen to me? Can I survive this?
Mm-hmm.
What will the treatment be? Will I be able to, go through
Go
it?
through it, right.
What are the side effects? That's one fear. And then there's fear also afterwards of the disease recurring.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I lived with that for a while.
Okay.
So is it going to come back?
Yeah.
It's always at the back of your mind. I don't live my life thinking about it every day.
Yeah.
But every now and then, especially when it comes to your yearly checkups and you've done your blood works and your mammograms and you're waiting for the results, of course, it's
Yeah,
like,
you go through.
yeah. So, I mean, anytime I'm sick now, it takes me so long to go to the doctor because could it be this?
Oh.
If I find a lump here or I have severe headaches, could
Right.
could it be the cancer that's moved into my brain? So it takes a lot mentally to be able to push yourself to go get checked.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing is acceptance. When you have any diagnosis like that, acceptance. You accept the situation, and then you look for solutions.
Solutions, okay.
In the same way, when you're done with the surgery, I'll go back to that as well, or you're done with your treatment, you have to look yourself in the mirror, especially those of us who've had some type of surgery. You have to learn to accept yourself and know that having a scar doesn't define you in any way whatsoever. Very important.
Important, yeah.
Doesn't define you in any way whatsoever. So I want to encourage anybody out there who has gone through it or who's going through it to know that don't let it define you. You can live a full life.
Full life.
After.
Right. Okay. When we talk about living full lives, I want to know, I mean, before you were diagnosed, you knew your purpose. You were working, you were doing things that you loved. Would you say that purpose shifted or evolved in any way after your treatment? I know that the sense of urgency came in, but did it evolve in any way?
It didn't slow me down in any way
Okay,
whatsoever.
okay.
Rather, I was more eager to establish myself, make sure that, especially after I had my children, make sure that I would be there for my kids and make sure that I would be able to make sure that they're financially independent. So for me, it fueled me.
Yeah, it fuels
Everybody's
you.
different. For me, it fueled me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm purpose driven, and it also, what it did for me though, a lot of us ask ourselves, why me? I say, why not me? And I truly believe that I do what I do with a foundation because I want to make an impact.
Yes.
And I believe that my life was saved for a reason.
Yeah.
I really honestly believe that. I've lost so many people. People have died in my arms. I'm very hands-on when it comes to me personally. I'm very hands-on when it comes to caring for people, and and when patients call us for help at 2 a.m. in the morning, if I get a phone call and somebody, Auntie Dorothy, I'm in pain, I get up and my mom's like, Nana, sleep. I'm like, no, I'm going because they don't have people.
Yeah.
A lot of the women sometimes have been even abandoned by their husbands.
Yes.
Because they've had their breasts taken off or they're no longer as attractive or whatever to their husbands, rather than them being supportive. So, so I do everything I can, and there's a survivor network that we have that, I try to encourage them to also do the same. But, I would personally go to the hospitals and I will make sure that if it's an emergency room that they need to be in, have you been to our emergency rooms? So it's not easy. There's no beds half the time.
Yeah.
And if you don't have somebody pushing and advocating for you, and I know the emergency doctors, for example, so I'll go in there and I'll say, listen, she's in dire need of a bed, as an assistant. And I'll stand there with them until they get their bed and they get their treatment. And, that's what it takes. Unfortunately, in Ghana, that's what it takes.
That's true.
And the continuity also of the treatments, that's something else I should talk about. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm sure there are a few doctors there. But a lot of the time, nobody takes your case personally. Doc, have you experienced that?
Yes, I have.
You don't have the time, maybe.
Yes.
Because
I
don't blame you.
You're even closer to the nurses than the doctors.
There you go.
Yeah.
You see, So for me, I think a lot of people lose their way and end up not surviving because there's nobody, in the medical system checking on them on a
Yeah,
regular
advocating
basis?
for them.
Are your meds working? You
Right.
know, I've had 6 cycles of chemo. You know, is it working? Do I have to change
The
medication?
medication.
You know, a lot of the time too, I blame the patients too. We don't ask questions.
There.
This part of the
Yeah.
world is like, you know,
You
just
wait to be given.
whatever the doctor says.
Yes.
But you have to ask questions. You know, if you're a good doctor, you're not going to be offended. You
Yes.
know, so we have
Yes.
to learn to ask questions. After all, it's our own body.
It's our bodies.
Right.
Yes.
You know,
Exactly.
Right.
you know what's happening to you
That's
more so
true.
than anybody. So ask questions, and hopefully through that, you know, you'll survive this.
That's a lot. I think everybody has a part to play at this point.
Everybody does.
So, Dr. Rabna, so we've highlighted two groups: people who actually have people who are, should I say, willing to be with them during this time, and people who don't have people.
Yeah.
Right. What would you say does that affect the survival rate? Right. And for those who don't have people, how do they create a community that can help them feel like, okay, life is worth living. I can actually fight through this.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the question. It does affect the survival rate because when people don't have people, they feel like there's nothing to live for. When you're in the hospital alone, you're surrounded by other people who are going through the
I'm going through the
same.
same thing.
Then you look at your left, oh, there's family coming. You look at your right, there's family coming. And then you look at your situation and you feel like, if I just give in, what would the difference be? So I can't emphasize this enough. Support is so important.
Yeah.
It's so important. And you don't necessarily have to be a family member to show
Okay.
that you care.
Okay.
You don't necessarily have to be a family member to show that you care. And for those that do not have the needed support,
Right.
they are in the hospital. We have palliative care groups.
Okay.
Not necessarily for people going through end of life. We've been diagnosed, and maybe in this amount of time, it's likely that you might pass on.
Right.
But then it's for the whole treatment. The family doctors also come around to speak with you and also address certain concerns beyond administering drugs.
Okay.
We have, for breast cancer management, it cuts across many medical disciplines. So we have the psychiatrists coming, dietitians coming, family medicine doctors coming to check up on what you're going through spiritually, emotionally, family-wise. Is there anyone you want to reach out to in this situation? And also during that time, people, especially the foundations, come around and also present maybe leaflets and pamphlets saying that after you go through this, even when you're going through this, we can be here for you. And afterwards, we welcome you into this support group. But what we have to overcome is the willingness of the people themselves, and finding something to hold on to, something to keep them going. Yeah, that's what it is.
And also the openness. You know, willingness and openness, because you know, the patients themselves also have to be willing to talk about what they're going through with somebody. That's also very important. It's not taboo to talk about it. It's you know, our society, the mindset has to change. That, you know, having breast cancer is some type of a, you know, a bad, you know, omen or something bad in your family. No, it's not that at all. It's a non-communicable disease which can very often be cured, as you know, if it's caught early, and it can happen to anybody, and it doesn't know any income bracket either.
Yes.
You know, so you know, I think, once again, back to the acceptance thing, accept where you are and be willing to talk about it and share your experiences. Support system is really important. And yes, it's true, the hospitals have, you know, have all this support system put in place. They do provide that.
That's incredible. And for example, your foundation, right? That's basically a community. You have people that you can share or exchange stories. For you as a founder of the foundation, how do you balance sharing such that you don't feel overwhelmed yourself? Like, I don't want to say re-traumatized, but how do you keep a balance between helping people because you really want to help them without opening wounds that you might have with regards to what you went through?
I don't think I can be traumatized by seeing anything. I think I've seen everything.
You've seen everything.
Yeah, from women who are going through a lot of diseased breasts and dying, and some yeah. I don't think there's anything left to see really. So that's me personally. Um, it just seeing it actually just reaffirms the fact that it can't happen to me again.
Right.
I've got to keep checking myself.
Yeah.
Right. I've
Yes.
got to keep checking myself and make sure that I'm on top of my game.
Okay.
I eat well. I rest enough. We just had that conversation.
I caught
Fine.
that.
Okay. Eat well, rest well enough, avoid carcinogens,
Right.
carcinogenic foods,
Okay.
cancer-causing things. Reduce your alcohol intake. I wouldn't say stop drinking. Not everybody can, but at least in moderation.
Moderation.
Okay. Don't smoke. That's a no-no.
Right.
Don't smoke, and exercise. Okay. Those are very important to release stress. Stress brings on disease.
Yes.
I had no family history of breast
Breast
cancer.
cancer. Oh.
I don't know what caused it.
Caused it. Okay.
A lot of people don't know what brings on breast cancer. It can be hereditary, but in my case, that wasn't it. What I do know is that I was extremely stressed. That's all I know. I was working non-stop. And, though physically I looked good and I felt healthy, but really inside I wasn't.
Yeah.
So a weak immune system can trigger cancer,
Right.
breast cancer. So, yeah.
Tell us more about Dorothy's Hope Foundation. I mean, you've given us snippets, but we want to know exactly what's the core of the organization.
So the foundation was established in 2014, so it's 11 years on now. We came to Ghana, it was breast cancer, yes, there were one or two people talking about breast cancer advocates,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like
It
this.
wasn't. Yes, it wasn't like this.
you
That's
know.
true. That's true.
So it's wonderful to see what's happening
Yeah.
now. People are more aware of the disease
Yes.
and willing to talk about it more so. So anyway, I established the foundation in 2014. It was a need to give back to society. I just lost my dad. I wanted to do something. I just felt the urge then to give back, and I decided to set up the foundation. Within,
right.
with a hope to encourage women going through the disease, empower women, who are going through it, and educate, more importantly. Educating our communities, especially in the hinterlands and the villages, and
Yes.
all those areas. So what we do is we do a lot of outreach throughout the course of the year. We've done every region with the exception of we've been to every region with the exception of the north,
Okay.
which is going to be our focus this year,
Oh, great.
this upcoming year. So we go there, we educate door to door. Sometimes we screen thousands and thousands of women, and more importantly, we collect data. That's something that a lot of organizations don't do. We'll go and give the service, but there's no follow up, and there's no data collection. So it's very important. We need to. Recently, I've been, I'm part of a committee at the Ministry of Health now, and these are the kind of things we're talking about. There's also a lot of foundations and organizations in Ghana right now, all doing the same thing. Okay, but if we don't collaborate, we have a problem. We don't collaborate. If we don't collaborate, how do we know that so and so A foundation didn't go to
this place,
go to this place and did this? Why is B foundation going back there the next month to do the same thing? We have a lot of territory to cover. So why not just communicate so that we can accomplish our goals? And building a cancer directory as well doesn't exist. A national cancer directory is needed as well. So these are all things that we're doing to help advance the cancer issue. So we do the outreach, we do the screenings. In October, though, I focus purely on Accra.
Okay.
So we just stay in Accra and we do all of that.
Right.
But other months of the year, we're outside. And then we support women. And if there's a man who has breast cancer, today I was with Abeku, at Vodafone. We spoke at Vodafone, and and he spoke very well, very eloquently. And he's gone through breast cancer, so he's very vocal about the fact that men can get breast cancer too. So anyway, so then we support emotionally. mentally, emotionally, physically, financially.
Right.
It's not always
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
Raising money in Ghana for this hasn't been easy at all.
Oh,
But wherever we
yeah.
can, we try to support, women with their drugs and their upkeep, through the disease. In the last couple of years, we also started renovations, identifying certain regional hospitals that are not well equipped and don't have a good cancer ward.
Ward, yeah.
And sometimes they don't, even the cancer wards don't exist at all, most cases. So trying to have conversations with the medical doctors and the medical team, basically the directors, to see what we can do. So we've worked with Kolebu Surgical Ward. 2 years ago, we did a full renovation there. We're about to do one in Ho. And we give them some level of equipment. We can't afford to put mammography machines. These are very expensive
it's
machines
expensive.
everywhere, but at least maybe an ultrasound machine here,
Right.
and other things.
Yeah, something we
other
can start
things.
with.
Yeah, other things.
And I remember the conversation we had about Comfort Noche, the pink ward.
Yes.
You didn't mention that one.
Actually, Kolebu. The
Kolebu
yeah.
pink ward.
Yeah, we need to come to Confanochi too soon.
Yes,
Yeah?
please.
Please, yes.
We'll be waiting for you.
Okay. Yeah.
I
So you've
see.
seen it, so.
Yeah, I will definitely go and look for that. I want to see that.
Very beautiful.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah.
I'll be there. Okay. All right. So, Dr. Ewurabena, let's talk about awareness, Pinktober.
Okay.
I mean, there's a highlight on the month, all month long. We're like, breast cancer awareness, get screened, early detection saves lives. But if we are being honest, it fades after October most of the time, right? So, from your professional lens, when we say year-round awareness, how do you think we can achieve that? What do you think is the best way to go about that for us to have all year long? We are talking about breast cancer. We are letting people check. They should go to the hospitals, get screened, so that at least we can have the early detection.
Yeah.
Right. How do you think we can do that?
Well, this is an interesting question because you realize that all year long there are different months allocated to different diseases.
Yes, that's
right?
true.
But then one thing that can be done, as we are doing right now, is to keep talking.
Keep talking about
Never
it.
keep quiet. Keep talking and never keep quiet. And once you enter into, which is something that the medical world is trying to build on, that once you come into contact with a health provider, they don't just see the case you present with,
Right.
but then according to your age and your sex, they
Okay.
deal with all issues that
Possible rights. Okay.
could come up at that time,
Okay.
and any peculiar issues also.
Well, that's good. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So then when you'd advise people to go regularly for medical checkups. But then people make comments, I've never
don't-
been to the
yeah.
hospital for 2 years.
And some people, I think it's the fear of the unknown. They don't even want to know what they don't know. It's insane.
Exactly. It might sound like an achievement, but then in honest cases, if you go around preaching that, it also pulls people
yes.
that also could be at risk. And if not checked, now we go into late detection.
to the late
so
stages.
always have your medical checkups as often as you can. When you see a screening coming up here, don't shy away. Don't say the sun is too hot or they won't do anything for me. Always go and present yourself. And also be open about health issues, as she rightly mentioned.
Yes.
In Ghana, there's a...
we don't talk about
You keep it in.
Yes,
you be strong. Oh, it's just a little lump.
Yes.
Yeah, me betre.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
In this pink season, one thing I tell myself personally is to be hyper aware. Beyond the fact that I'm aware of my health all year long.
Yes.
It's pink. It's feminine for me. Be hyper aware of myself and my health. So if I have to go to, maybe once I have to go to the gynecologist.
Yes.
It's October. And so the pink brings a sort of remembrance.
Yeah.
But not now and knowing.
Fair. That makes sense. That makes sense. All right. I think I have one final question for Miss Dorothy. And this is from you to somebody who has probably just finished treatment, what would you like them to know about life after treatment? If it's one thing, what would you like them to know about life? What's waiting for them beyond the treatment?
Pick up the pieces. Put yourself back together. Life goes on. Be strong.
Okay.
Shake the fear that it's coming back. If you've been treated successfully, shake it off. Don't just go through life thinking, it's coming back.
Right.
Have a positive outlook and try to rebuild your life. Very important. You've been saved. Your life has been saved. So just move on. And do your regular checks. Preventative health care.
Right.
It's not a big thing here. It's prevention. Prevention is always better than cure.
Yeah.
So include breast tests, exams and tests as part of your normal health routine.
Okay.
If you go to the doctor's office once a year for your physical, we need to do that.
We do.
Everywhere in the world they do.
Yeah.
Some organizations offer that free serve. I think it's free for some companies.
Yep.
So please let the companies also be aware of this and not just wait to do screenings in October. I mean, most companies in Ghana now are offering that service.
They offer that, yes,
but
that's true.
that should be additional. Okay, what we should do is when they go for their annual medicals, we should please include cancer prevention, as well. To test for that and learn, we should learn how to give ourselves self-breast exams and be very important. Our men, for me, it was a man who found my lump.
Okay.
So yes. So my husband. So it's very important to teach our men also how to perform the exams, both on themselves, but especially on their women.
Yeah.
After all, they're there more than we are. So
yeah.
so it's important for them to also know the signs.
Yeah.
And you have to learn as a woman. You have to learn about your body. Be aware of your body. Touch yourself. Feel your breasts. There's certain times of the month where your breasts are more dense than others. So that approximately 7 to 10 days after your menstrual cycle is our most ideal time to check yourself. Right. So everyone naturally has lumpy breasts sometimes. Or dense breasts, but that doesn't mean say it's cancer or it's breast cancer. So get to know your body. So if there's any changes, and doc, do you want to do this or shall I do this? If any such changes, such as, some people naturally. Can I go into this?
You can.
Okay, so some people have naturally inverted nipples.
Yes,
that's normal for some people. Most people don't. But if you notice, for example, that your nipples are normally perky and suddenly your nipples are going in, that's a sign that something is wrong.
Right.
If you squeeze your nipple or if you're oozing anything, it's also normal for some liquids, sometimes clear liquids usually, to be to come out of your breast. Yep. But if it's a foul odor, if it's brown, if it's bloody, that's a bad sign. You need to go in immediately to see a doctor. If your breast starts to look like a little hardened, we call it peeling, the orange peel. It looks like an orange.
Right. Okay.
So it's like the little hole. If it starts to look like an orange peel, that is also negative. So that means you need to go in to get checked immediately.
Okay.
If you find a lump, that it doesn't have to hurt. My lump never hurt. There's no pain associated whatsoever. But there's a way when you go to get checked, they'll show you whether it's movable or whether it's solid, or So these are all things that you have to look out for. Okay. So immediately you notice any changes in your breast, please go see Madam here.
Madam, do you have anything to add to it?
Well, I'm just watching in admiration because I love it when we know about ourselves.
Yes.
Because it's not. The doctor is not living with you.
Yes.
You have to know about your body.
Exactly.
You have to have answers. When the doctor asks you, when was your last menstrual period? You have to have
know,
answers.
Yes,
you cannot be ignorant.
That's true.
Yes, I think she has mentioned most of them. The little I would add is, most of the time, naturally, women's breasts, one is slightly bigger than the other.
Right.
Or when you realize any overt changes, when you realize that one is warmer than the other. And sometimes with breast cancer, the lump is so tiny that you ignore it. But then after some time, it might grow rapidly. That is also a dangerous sign.
Okay.
You woke up yesterday, it
Yesterday,
was this, and then in 2 days is looking, yes. And then when you start getting little ulcers, yes, please, I'd really recommend, please don't go into putting herbs.
Don't put
Don't
the
put
ointment.
anything
the
there.
12 in
Please
one
just
ointment.
run to the hospital, please. Yes, that's a little I'd add. And any other signs aside from the breast, you realize you should just run to the hospital because it's not necessarily breast cancer. You're having headaches, you're vomiting early in the morning all the time, you have bone pains, your abdomen is getting bigger and bigger. Kindly rush to the hospital, please.
Run, don't walk. I see. Okay. This has been an interesting one. There were some things I knew about breast cancer, but I've learned a whole lot, from access to healthcare to being advocates for ourselves, and also the power of the mind, basically. Yes, and how important that is in surviving and thriving. I want to say a big thank you to you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Ewurabena, Miss Dorothy, you have taught me, and I'm pretty sure everyone who is listening to this, a whole lot about surviving and thriving after treatment, and realizing that, one, you should be your best advocate.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have a community, being your own advocate is key, and also believing in yourself, knowing that you can go through this. People have done it. People have come out on the other side, so you can actually go through this. Yes.
One last things I'd like to add is that with respect to support, I mean, you mentioned lots of support.
Yes.
But with the caregivers or friends and family, don't let the support be passive. It should be active.
Active, right.
Don't just send the phone call, how are you doing? Oh, I'm not doing well. Then that's the end of the phone call. Nothing else. And then someone asks you, oh, I checked up on her last week.
Yeah.
But then please be intentional. If you're caring, care. If you're not, half-heartedness doesn't do well for anyone.
Got it.
Yes, and also one thing for the people going through this situation, what you have been saved for is always greater than what you've been saved from.
That's a good one.
So don't let just being, maybe perhaps by God's grace you've survived breast cancer. Don't let that be your end. It should be the beginning of bigger, much, much bigger things. Yeah, that's what I like to
Thank
add.
you so much, Dr. Ewurabena. So be active carers, not passive carers. And it's not your end. It doesn't define your story. It's just the beginning of another journey in life. Thank you once again for joining us. And
I'd like to give you my t-shirts. Okay,
a
so
t-shirt.
this.
Oh yeah.
So this
Miss Dorothy
we've had
brought
a
us
lot of
t-shirts.
events. We have
Okay.
a lot of events. But I'd like to share some t-shirts with you.
Thank you so much.
There you go.
This is great.
And some caps as well.
Oh,
This
nice.
is the I for Cancer Walkathon, which we had
Okay.
last weekend. So we have a few more events coming up. On Sunday, we also have a tennis tournament
Nice.
at
Okay.
Birmingham.
Love
So
it.
you should
Birmingham.
come. Yeah,
Okay,
Birmingham.
okay.
It's from 8 to 5 p.m.
Nice.
We have celebrities, we have survivors. We're going to have a court for celebrities and a court for real players, and then a fun court.
I like that.
Yeah, there'll be
I
lots
like
of
that.
food, drinks,
Okay.
and lots of good conversations. So please join us.
Yeah, we will.
Thank you so much.
All right. So we are going to take our shirts and we are going to have a good time after the podcast. Thank you guys for listening. And we hope you join us on our next episode. Until then, do take care and remember that WopeCar gives you the freedom to go places. Have a good one, guys.
Your journey never stops. A new adventure awaits you just a few clicks away. A road trip or vacation, a time to connect with those we care about. We take on the hassle so you don't have to. We are here to give you the freedom to go places. WopeCar. Rent a car in a few clicks.